Welcome, dear friends, wherever you are. Welcome, young women and those of us who were once younger. There are many celebrations around the world on this 20th anniversary of Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security. More people are engaged by Zoom than could come to a conference at the UN. No visas are needed here. No money for plane fares here. It seems more democratic. Zoom may be the only good thing happening as a result of this deadly, life-changing pandemic. I hope you and your families are well. I just tested negative, so we can be together. I love civil society. That's you and me. If it weren't for organized civil society, there would be no Security Council Resolution 1325. It took mere mortal women to conceive it and draft it. Civil society invented and are implementing the landmine ban treaty that won the Nobel Peace Prize. Civil society is the way to go. Women started to talk about the need for the Security Council to consider women as peacemakers in May of 1999, when thousands of people from over 100 countries met in the Netherlands at the Hague Appeal for Peace conference. We heard how to bring our ideas to the Security Council. And we met in the office of UNIFEM, now called UN Women. We decided to present our draft document in October when Namibia would hold the presidency, and asked for them to send someone to help us with Security Council language. We were a handful of women calling for the 3 Ps: participation of women at all levels of governance, prevention of violent conflict, and protection of women and girls during violent conflict. We lobbied all 15 UN member states and brought our draft to Kofi Annan's gender advisor. On the last day of October, Namibia's ambassador called for its unanimous adoption, and it was. A number of our women drafters were worried that adopting a resolution would not carry the weight of passing a resolution, voting for it. So I called the UN's lawyer, Hans Corell from Sweden. He came to breakfast and took the UN Charter out of his pocket. Article 25 says all member states agreed to carry out the decisions of the Security Council. That makes it international law. There are myths about this women-made international law. One is that it affects countries who are at war. That's not true. It affects all countries. It immediately calls for prevention, which used to be considered a toxic word, even though the UN was created to, quote, save succeeding generations from the scourge of war. I believe that you've discussed this landmark resolution, which is celebrated every year at the end of October. We don't let anyone forget it. If there are no women at the table, it's not a legitimate discussion. I call for decent, progressive women because I believe that it takes more than ovaries to make a good feminist woman activist. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who recently died of cancer, was our iconic jurist on the US Supreme Court. She believed that imagination and passion should be used to look at the future. We have an opportunity today, with everything challenged by this destructive pandemic, to use our passion and imagination to think of the future we want for ourselves and our daughters and sons. There are terrific African women on whose shoulders we all stand, who broke ceilings. Wangari Maathai from Kenya was a Nobel Peace Prize laureate for planting trees. Pamela Odede-Mboya worked with the UN's Third World Conference on Women in Nairobi in 1985. I loved and admired both women whose lives were cut short by cancer. Nations should not be allowed to go to war without women at the table, and then they shouldn't be allowed to engage in war anymore. The nuclear button should certainly no longer be allowed to be in the hand of just one person, the head of the nuclear state. What if he or she is taking mind-altering drugs for a pandemic? Abolishing nuclear weapons must be at the top of the agenda, together with climate change and pandemics, all existential threats to people and the planet. I can imagine requiring every nation to endorse the UN resolution to make aggression a crime. I can imagine mobilizing every woman who has ever had breast cancer and those who desperately want to prevent breast cancer to require their governments to give up nuclear power, which creates nuclear waste that can be used to make nuclear weapons. Breast cancer is highest in areas near nuclear power plants. I applaud the Took-Res Women Leadership Academy of the University of Pretoria for partnering with the Global Network of Women Peace Builders for bringing us together to meet the challenges of the future. We ask, what must women do to prevent violence? What must we do to be sure we're included at all decision-making tables? And how do we monitor equality so no one is left off the train because of any difference? Whatever you do, be sure the people impacted are with you at the table. Use your passion and imagination to create the future we all need. Good luck.